Welcome to Pregnancy and Birth Diaries. Today we'll be talking about a very serious condition called a prolapsed umbilical cord. It can happen during pregnancy or labor when the umbilical cord slips through the cervix and into the birth canal ahead of the baby. Usually the umbilical cord is nestled snugly against the baby's body and is delivered after the baby is born. But in cases of prolapsed cord, it creates a critical issue because the umbilical cord is the baby's lifeline. It carries oxygen and nutrients from the placenta to the baby. So this is a severe complication, but it happens very rarely. So it's very important to recognize the signs. These can be a visible or a palpable cord in the vaginal canal, feelings of cord pressure or pulsations. And for some women, unfortunately, there might be no signs. In the event of prolapsed cord, time is of the essence. If you suspect it, call an emergency line because you need an immediate medical attention and ambulance. Tell them that you are pregnant and that you suspect a prolapsed umbilical cord. While you are waiting for the ambulance, get into knee-chest position to take the pressure off the cord and remain in this position until medical professionals arrive. So now let's talk about what might cause the umbilical cord to prolapse. It can happen if the baby hasn't engaged and there is some space, because when the baby moves down into the pelvis and completely fills it, the umbilical cord is usually safe from prolapsing because the baby is covering the with his or her mass the cervix, so the chances of umbilical cord to escape are very low. And it can also happen if your baby isn't in the head first position, especially if it's bridge bottom first or lying sideways position. In such cases, the umbilical cord has more freedom to slip through the cervix. Another situation when it can happen is if your water breaks early or labor starts early, and also multiple pregnancies and having more amniotic fluid than usual can be risk factors as well. Sometimes it can also happen if your baby is smaller in size or your placenta is low-lying. And sometimes if your doctor or midwife breaks your water, but when the baby's head is still high up in your pelvis. I also had my water broken both times, and it's not the most pleasant experience, but I was already in full-blown labor and my water just didn't break on its own. But of course, it was done when my baby was already very low positioned and I was already on the birthing table in case if something went wrong. And unfortunately, umbilical cord prolapse cannot be prevented. An ultrasound scan cannot predict cord prolapse because the positions of the baby and the umbilical cord can shift throughout the pregnancy. But it's helpful to make sure you have prenatal care, have open discussions with your doctor, especially if you change doctors and records are not transferred between doctors, and understand your risk factors so that if you are at high risk, then your doctor and your midwife are aware and ready to handle the situation quickly. So prolapsed umbilical cord is a rare but potentially life-threatening complication, and most likely there might be a C-section, but of course your doctor will decide depending on situation. Anyways, awareness, preparedness, and swift action are key. So be informed, seek early prenatal care, and discuss your risk factors with your doctor. All right, that is it for today. I hope this was useful, and I will see you next time.